Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Group Vision's coverage of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here on iRacing. Of course, we're going to be tackling the big bad Talladega, the most high-octane track there is, 2.66 miles of just insane high-octane action. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. We were supposed to have Austin Edstrom as our lead commentator, but he is having some technical woes here. Hopefully, he'll be joining us in a little bit. But if not, we'll still bring you all the action here at Talladega. We're in race number 3 of the season. Of course, we've seen some excellent racing, I do believe, at Texas and at Richmond. Now we're at Talladega. Of course, looking at the track temp today, it's 112 degrees trackside, so pretty hot here in Alabama. Definitely probably a lot hotter than it is in probably real life. 2 mile an hour wind, though, so not too windy out there, but this is going to be probably a pretty scary race considering these trucks, of course, are low horsepower. We're going to see a lot of big pushes. We're going to see a lot of probably 3 or 4 wide. Of course, Daytona, not a track you can really do a whole lot of 4 wide racing, but Talladega is definitely the track you can. Let's take a quick look at the points coming into tonight's race. Of course, winner of the first race, I do believe, was Heath Snyder. But Andrew Hale won last week at Richmond Raceway. He, of course, is sitting at the top of the board. Heath Snyder, your other winner, tied. So they are actually tied for that first place position. Keegan Sambilo has finished second place in both the races we've seen thus far. So he sits third. Brian Lorenzo, he's a new face to me. Of course, not a new face. Actually, he is a old OG, if you will, of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Luke Mahone, another new driver. He's in 5th place. Nathan Meyer, he sits 6th. John Boundy, 7th. Jeff Noe sits 8th. Jason Taylor in 9th. James Harris, of course, coming into this race is 10th. And I'll tell you, he's been having the worst luck probably out of anybody. First race at Texas, he led almost the entire race and actually got crashed towards the end of the race. Very, very upset. Didn't fare too much better at Richmond. Here we are, qualifying, of course, underway. We got about a little bit of over a minute left around Talladega. Most of the positions have been settled. We've got most of the drivers have qualified, so we'll see who's going to be at the top of the board, who's going to be where, who's going to be fighting for that lead at the beginning. As you know about Talladega, though, it's going to be all about teamwork, and I think that's going to be one of our keys to victory here tonight. You're going to really want to work with some friends. You're going to want to have some friends out there. If you're new to this league and you're not used to some of the drivers that frequent this league, you might be left holding the bag a little bit, not really knowing who exactly to work with. So I know that some drivers in particular are probably going to be able to flock together. You know, I think Heath Snyder, he's usually pretty good at the Superspeedway tracks like this. We'll have to wait and see. I know I see some the newer faces. Brian Lorenzo, I'm curious what he's going to do. I know Keegan Sabilo is a short track master. Don't think this is a short track. This is not it at all. This is probably the antithesis to a short track. So he's probably going to be well outside of his comfort zone. As I'm watching at the moment, Jeff Noe is actually finishing his qualifying lap. He, at the moment, I do believe is qualified in 3rd. His qualifying now has wrapped up, and we'll be going on to the starting grid here in just a moment. Taking a look at that, of course, Heath Snyder at the top of the board with E.J. DeBoer. I do believe that's how you say that name. Hopefully I'm not saying it wrong. He's qualified on the outside pole. 3rd place, Jeff Noe. 4th, Andrew Hale. 5th, James Harris. 6th place, Garth Schneider. 7th, Ray Kennison. 8th place, John Lucido. 9th, Jason Taylor. 10th, Dan Hillewig. 11th place, Brandon Ball. 12th, Tyler Meeks. 13th, Sam Swope. 14th, Stephen Pless. 15th, Keegan Sobilo. 16th, Larry Fairman. 17th, Brad Thacker. 18th, Brian Lorenzo. 19th, William Mann Jr. 20th, Robert Wynn. 21st, Brian Toole. And, of course, 22nd, Paul Buchanan, new driver to the series. And 23rd, Osmir Boscombe. He's going to be rounding out this 23-truck field. So quite a field we have here. And I've been loving the field sizes here this season. The Champion Power Equipment Truck Series has been having. Last season, of course, we expected to see about 15 drivers. Now we're seeing above 20. So I'm really enjoying that. You could tell that James Harris and the boys really went out there and started doing some massive recruiting. And it's definitely paid off. Of course, looking at the track temp, it has cooled down a little bit out here on the track. 109 degrees now, so that's a little bit cooler than what it was. I do believe by about 3 degrees. I do want to talk a little bit about the details of today's race. Of course, this is a 60-lap race at Talladega. Of course, this is going to feature 3 sets of tires down in the pits. Fuel window, I do believe, from what I've been told, is probably around 35 laps. Now, that, of course, is very, very dependent on whether you're in the draft or whether you're not. If you are leading a pack, you're going to be burning more fuel than everyone else. So that's going to be something these guys are going to really have to keep their eyes on. In qualifying, or not qualifying, in practice, they were very rowdy. They were a rowdy bunch, that's for sure. Lots of wrecking, lots of things like that. So we could definitely possibly see some cautions out on this 2.66 mile racetrack. I know a lot of these drivers probably don't want that to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Who is going to be possibly our second winner in a row, or not in a row, or repeat winner, I should say? Will Andrew Hale possibly step up to the plate, or will race leader right now, Heath Snyder, be able to get another win, a repeat win? We've only got two winners so far this season. Can we maybe see a repeat? But definitely a great qualifying job for Jeff No, who's up in 3rd place. I know he ran really well last week. We're seeing a lot of these new faces. They were running towards the front. We'll see if that's going to be the case this week. Of course, No looked really good at Richmond. As you can see, we even have a picture there of him. Love that paint scheme as well. Here we go, filing down the backstretch. Green flag is going to be coming out for the first time here momentarily as Heath Snyder gets us into 3 and 4. Snyder, like I said before, very good at these styles of tracks. He's always usually up front. I know one league, I think in particular, he raced one race I do believe, the Grid Vision Superspeedway Series. Performed pretty well in that race. As they exit turn number 4, Snyder going to be taking the green here momentarily. Of course, one thing about Talladega, though, very long front stretch that he has to wait until he gets to the start-finish line. Pace car has taken a left turn, is getting ready to drive itself right on down pit road as Heath Snyder gets ready to press that loud pedal and get everybody out here going and underway. The Geico restart zone. Green flag is out for the first time tonight at Talladega in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Good start so far, so good, so far, so safe. As you can already see, Andrew Hale starting to give some big pushes to that top line. Of course, that being DJ DeBoer, as he's already getting a huge run to possibly even contend for the lead down the backstretch. Coming out of turn number 2, it almost looks like he might get cleared down to Heath Snyder. Top line has got a massive run. Andrew Hale doing a fantastic job. Gar Snyder as well. Those 3 cars are connected. They are almost inseparable. As you see, Snyder gives a little bit of a bump to the 4. One thing about these trucks, though, at tracks like Talladega, you don't push the pusher, and we got some problems as Hale and Snyder they come into one another, as well as I do believe we see another truck, James Harris, with some damage. Caution flag is out. James Harris, I think, got the worst out of that, and that just adds more bad luck on his 3rd race now that he has gotten damage in. We're going to take a look back and see exactly what happened here. As you can clearly see the damage on the rear of the 55, and he has probably got to be fuming right now. We'll take a look here. We'll see exactly what happened. All of a sudden, whoa! Now that was a mystery if I've ever seen one. What just happened to the 4? The 4 of Andrew Hale almost seemed like he hit a rock or something like that in the racetrack or something that caused him to suddenly lose control of his vehicle, right? There, it's almost like he hit a wall. There was no wall, though. And unfortunately, the person that caught the worst end of it was, I think, James Harris. I have never quite seen anything like that before, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if I'll see anything like it again. Luckily, these guys do have one fascia pair in the bank that they can use, and I'm sure some of them probably don't want to use it, so I would not be surprised that we'll see some damage getting repaired here just to see if they could possibly get away with not having to fix that damage. Here we go. Everybody seems to be coming down pit road. A couple drivers not. Looks like Andrew Hale has elected to stay out, even though he does have front end damage from that issue. If you look at the front end of the 4 machine, there is quite a dent on his front, and that could very likely cause some handling woes or some speed different issues, I do believe. As you can clearly see, the front of that thing is caved in pretty good. While we have a moment, though, I do want to give a quick shout out, of course, to the title sponsor of this series, that being the Champion Power Equipment brand. Of course, this podcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. They've been, since 2003, they've earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the U.S. for the North America and world markets. Visit them at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Of course, most have gotten off of pit road. Looks like Heath Snyder comes off pit road, I do believe, first. Everybody else, a lot of people have stayed out. About half the field is actually elected to stay out. From what I'm seeing on the pit calls, it seems like for the most part, everybody that did come down only took fuel. We did have some damage repairs, I think, from the 55 probably. Yeah, we did have some damage repairs out there. But Andrew Hale right now is our leader. You can clearly see he has got damage on that vehicle. This is going to be a difficult thing for him. I'm looking. Did I even see that his rear end is missing? Looks like he's seen better days, that's for sure. So, what a rough start we're having to the series here, the race here at Talladega. Hopefully, these guys can get us a good green run. We got Austin Edstrom in the booth. Austin, do you read me now? I think we're still having some technical woes with him, but as you can see, there's definitely some rear end damage on Andrew Hale. I think we can hear Edstrom now.
It's the wrong microphone. It probably sounds like crap, doesn't it?
Well, it's something at least.
Well, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
well, at least we're making progress. Woo! We do apologize for the technical woes. Sometimes it's hard to avoid those woes. I'm sure our fans definitely being patient out there. We appreciate you tuning in to Grid Vision. We always aim to bring you the best broadcast we possibly can, and I think these guys out here on the racetrack are probably going to be bringing us the best show possible as well. As you can see, heavily damaged Andrew Hale is leading the field here. That's going to be a scary thing, to say the least. I think a lot of the drivers in this field are probably a little bit worried. They're probably hearing from their fellow drivers, hey, the leader has got some damage. I don't know how fast he's going to be, whether he has any engine damage. He does have hood damage and, of course, rear damage as well. I bet if I was sitting in the 15 shoes of Jason Taylor, I'd be a little worried about trying to push that 4. Don't really think you want to try to push someone that does not have a rear bumper. Of course, he does have his spoiler, as you can clearly see off the roof camera of the 15. Jason Taylor probably a little concerned, but probably still going to be ready to go. We do have 63 of Dan Hellowick. He could take advantage of this situation. Of course, him and Brandon Ball, depending on how good Brandon Ball does on the pushing. Now, I'm wondering, will we see that happen again? Is that a glitch that maybe might repeat itself? Now, that is probably a concern as well. I don't think we saw that really in practice, though. But here we go. On the front stretch, pace car has dipped down pit road. Andrew Hale preparing to go up through the gears here in his tracker machine. And green flag is back out in the air for the second time as Hale up through the gears. Let's see if that top line gets as good as a jump as they did in the beginning of the race. And it looks like they will. Look at Dan Hellewig moving quickly to the front. Him and Brandon Ball. You can clearly see that there is something wrong with Andrew Hale's truck. He is very much off the pace. The damage is substantial. Everybody is passing him. Everyone is scattering to get around him. You can see Brad Thacker jumps down on the apron to try to get around as the 42, I do believe. 3 wide. This is looking like this could be a very bad deal if we don't be careful here at Talladega. But Hellewig at the moment is still in the lead with Brandon Ball. They're 3 wide, though, I do believe, for the 4th place position. Well, actually, no, about 5th place now, as Brad Thacker and Stephen Pless are side by side, actually double file. A little bit further back, I think William Mann Jr. is actually where they're 3 wide. You can see Heath Snyder trying to make his way through the middle. And just a little bit of an update, of course, on the driver of the 4. Andrew Hale is completely lost in the draft. He is all by his lonesome. That is not what you want at a track like Talladega. As we see side by side for the lead, Stephen Pless trying to take it away. He's on that middle groove, getting a big run with the help of Larry Fairman in that 11 machine. Black Rifle Coffee paint scheme there. Of course, we're not showing that on the broadcast, but that's what he actually is running. Of course, you see right behind him, Heath Snyder in tow of the 11. They are racing quite hard. You see a lot of movement, a lot of jostling for position. I think I see the 7 of Tyler Meeks has snuck his way up to the 7th place position. As looks like Pless trying to play games with the lines. He moves down in front, then jumps back up. And one thing you'll notice about Talladega is when you jump between lines, you're going to see a vastly different comparison or contrast, I should say, when it comes to the momentum. As here we go, Heath Snyder said, hey, I'm going to go 3 wide up top. He doesn't have a whole lot of help, though. I think if possibly he had someone that was closer to his rear end, like I do believe Jeff No, he might be able to make this work a little bit better. But 3 of Snyder is still gathering a good enough run to stay in contention for the top 5 for the moment. Hellewig, of course, back in the lead now, 7 laps down. Or should I say 7 laps completed in this race. Brandon Ball giving some pretty good pushes to the 63. As well as now Tyler Meeks has moved up into that 7th or 5th place position. He's up in the top 5. Rocking a little bit of a different paint scheme there, Meeks is. Carhartt, love that. Of course, the 73 of John Lucido as well. He's moved up into the top 10. He's up in 8th on the bottom there. As well as James Harris, who was involved in that crash, the first crash of the evening, is up in the top 10 as well. He has moved up into 8th. He sits there up on the top side. Oh, problems for the 42 of Boscombe as he spins out down onto the apron. Caution flag is out. Surprised that even caused a caution. I think it might be because of where he spun at. I mean, if he had spun down the apron on the backstretch, he probably would have been no caution. But because he spun right before the pit entry, I think that iRacing recognized that as a safety issue possibly. Luckily, he did not hit the inside wall. That was very fortunate for him, because if he had, it would have been a very nasty lick, and he probably would have ended his race. So he's going to actually, I think, try to avoid a pit entry penalty there. We're going to take a look at the, of course, the incident itself. Whoa. Might have got bumped from behind, or was that something else? I think we're going to have to take a different angle to see exactly what happened. But I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Unfortunately, that was our 2nd crash. Luckily, he's still going to be going, but we'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here at Talladega, of course, in Alabama. It has been a fantastic race thus far. Of course, we've had a couple incidents. One that was involving a mystery incident by Andrew Hale. He hit some sort of UFO that was on the top groove of the racetrack, caused him massive damage. Of course, this caution actually saved him. This last caution, though, involved the 42, which caused him, I do believe it was Boscombe, who spun around right on the entrance of pit road, brought out a caution. So this should save Andrew Hale and allow him to possibly get the damage repaired on that race car. Are now 10 laps into this race. I do believe pace car lights should be going off very, very soon. We appreciate you joining us here for the third race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Dan Hillowig is up here leading some of his first laps in the series. Definitely a good job from him so far. At the end of 63. Of course, the 69 of Stephen Pless, of course, he's sitting up here. He's been trading off some laps led as well. So a lot of very good performances thus far. I do see Andrew Hale. He did come down pit road. He did, I do believe, take that fast spare. Looks like he's got a brand new truck there, so definitely going to be glad to see that for sure. And it looks like the 11 is actually rocking his right paint scheme now. So how about that? Larry Fairman get to show his Black Rifle Coffee scheme out. It's a nice looking scheme. But looks like pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway. Hopefully we can get us a good long green run. I know it's been exciting thus far. We've seen some 3-wide action. Of course, a lot of these drivers probably a little bit walking on eggshells, a little worried that something's going to happen. Anytime an accident happens at a track like this, it's over 180 mile an hour. And most of the time, that means when you hit something, it's going to destroy your race car. So a lot of these guys are definitely probably a little bit concerned on thin ice. And some drivers now have used that fast repair. Of course, speaking of people that have, we know for a fact, used a fast repair would be, I do believe, James Harris, Andrew Hale, I would assume. Of course, I do believe Boscombe in that last incident did not get any damage, so he probably is fine. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. Of course, a lot of these drivers probably really concerned about the fuel, considering we talked about it before. 35 laps is the estimated fuel window. We are still quite a distance from that green light that where you know you are good to make it to the end. Pace car now dipping down pit road is making that long, arduous journey to make it to pit road, actually. This is one of the most anxiety-inducing tracks, I'd say, in my opinion, when it comes to how long it takes for the green flag to come out. As we get ready to enter the Geico restart zone, Dan Hillowig getting ready to take us there. Green flag is back out for the third time. Really great restart there from the 63. He just got going quickly. And I think Brandon Ball might have even been caught off guard a little bit, but I think he was able to recover nicely. And the bottom line has gotten the best run that they've gotten all night long, I'd say. Most of the time we've seen that top line get really great runs. But here comes Andrew Hale as well as Larry Fairman. Fairman, of course, trying to work with Hale. I don't think Hale's really of the same mind. Looks like we are starting to see a top group starting to generate and organize. As you see, I do believe the 69 of Stephen Pless has jumped up there in front of the 11, as well as you see William Mann Jr. trying to get lined up, as well as I do believe the 55. No, actually, I think that's actually the Who is that there? I think that's actually the 73. Maybe that is. I'm getting all kind of confused. But yeah, Stephen Pless at the moment is scored leader. Let's see if he'll lead this lap. It's going to come down to the wire here as they are side by side. It looks like, I'm not even sure who led that lap. I think it might have been Hillowig at the second. It actually was Pless. We're hearing from our producers. They are still dueling side by side. And a third line has started to come up. Here comes Heath Snyder. He says, I am not going to sit behind any of these guys. I'm going to work my way to the front. And look at the top line go, as I believe that is Gary Snyder. Even though their last names are spelled differently, they have elected to work together as the 3 and the 5 are scooting up on the top. And a little bit of wiggles there for the 11. Larry Fairman moves up the track a little bit. That's got to be worrisome a little bit for that top groove. You see as well, Brad Thacker is moving up there too. Looks like that third group is really fast here at Talladega, and it looks like they're just, that's the place you're going to want to be. It looks like, as we see side by side, almost 4 wide, as we are 4 wide for just a moment, as this could go any sorts of ways, any sorts of bad, as we see 3 wide almost pretty much for the lead. Oh, a little bit of contact with the wall. I do believe that's the 56 of Brad Thacker that's touching the wall. Luckily, it does not end in any incidences. I think it was just a low, not a low-speed hit, but a slight glaze. As Heath Snyder's still 3 wide for the lead right now. Stephen Pless, of course, in the middle. Oh, a little bit of a move up there for Daniel Hellowig. He moves up the track a little bit there. I don't know if he's going to want to do that too much. Ooh, the 11 comes up and almost tags Heath Snyder. That was a close one. As these guys have, this is one thing, when you're 3 wide at Talladega, you've got to know how to hold a line. No matter who you're following, you can't trust them. You've got to hold a line. Otherwise, you could end up seeing just a horrifying accident, as I think we're getting ready to possibly see right now. All the vibes are all the signs are showing that we're getting ready to see a big accident. 3 wide once again for the lead, as Heath Snyder and the 69 of Pless both surge ahead of the bottom line. You can see, wow, a lot of wiggling in that middle group. I don't know if it's because of how turbulent the air is, but Larry Fairman has been moving around a lot. And I don't know if it's maybe because the middle Pless is moving around a lot as well, if it's just the turbulent air. But it is very scary in that middle group. You can even see that a lot of the middle group, no one is in it anymore, because I think all of them are terrified to follow in that turbulent air. It seems to be, I don't know if that has something to do with it. You can even see Heath Snyder starting to back off. Oh, Gary Snyder. I'm getting all kinds of mixed up there. Starting to blink, and that is called, I do believe, Heath Snyder to get out of that third groove. Here we go again. A lot of drivers, I think, are seeing warning signs. They're starting to back off. As you can see, it's not quite as compact as it was earlier in the in this run. But Hellowig has led so far, I do believe, the most laps. We're getting ready to close lap 16 and start lap 17. He has been using the bottom line, protecting it very well. Of course, he's been working very well as well with Brandon Ball. Ball in the 17, looking to get himself a good finish. Here comes Pless with another big run in that middle group. Third lane has disappeared completely. I think a lot of these guys just want to make it home safe. Another driver that has kind of been quietly slinking his way into the top 5 or top 7 at the moment is Sam Swope, 50 driver. He's one of the newer recruits, I do believe, for this series. Looking pretty good in the 50 machine right now. Been keeping his head down. Like that blue paint scheme he's got there. And I think he's good, just wanting to make it to the end. This is one of the best chances for some of these drivers to get a victory. Of course, the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series competition is known to be some of the best and fiercest competition in iRacing. And, you know, it's so difficult to get wins, especially in a fixed series. It is based purely on your skill and your driving ability. And the only time some of these drivers have a chance to really win might be a track like Talladega, because this is a track where really, it's 50% luck, and I'd say 50% skill, or should I say decision making. Steven Pless makes a big move to the high side. They're starting to get that run generated there. So he has been very good at working that middle groove. As we see, Hellewig moves up the track again. I'm wondering, how will the track change? I know usually at these super speedway tracks, we don't see a whole lot of tire wear or things like that, but we have seen updates in the past now that have caused rubber to be laid down in the most used grooves. As we go 3 wide, Heath Snyder once again makes a huge charge to the outside with Jason Taylor right there behind him. And Heath Snyder this time, this is probably the best run he's had so far. He does get clear with Jason Taylor. Taylor thinks about jumping down, going with Heath Snyder, but I think Andrew Hale was too close to his back bumper, caused a little bit of handling woes, and that leaves Heath Snyder by himself on the bottom, now being pushed by Steven Pless. Now Jason Taylor going to try to see if he can't take the lead, and I think he's going to. Look at the run that Taylor takes. He jumps down in front of Snyder. Now Hale is in the lead of that top group. That's kind of where you're going to want to be leading. I don't know. I think if you are going to jump down to the bottom, you're going to want to take your friend with you, and I think a lot of these drivers are making that mistake. Jason Taylor right now in the lead. He moves up, playing the field here. He tries to jump up in front of Hale. Hale is not having any of it. He just takes him 3 wide. And here comes James Harris up on the top. He's going to try to see if he can do what Heath Snyder did earlier. You see the 42 as well. I do believe a Bascom trying to push the 55, as well as I do believe behind the 55. I think that's, I do believe that might be John Lucido. I'm trying to remember who that 99. No, that is there's a car that looks a lot like what James Harris used to run. I'm trying to figure out who that is. I think that's Lorenzo. Brian Lorenzo changing it up in his paint scheme, trying to keep us guessing up here. But Jason Taylor right now in the lead. He's got Andrew Hale with him, and they're actually starting to pull away a little bit. But now that is changing as you see Heath Snyder drafts back up. One thing about Talladega, there is hardly no chance of you actually pulling away at a track like this. You're going to end up getting reeled right back in. Top line starting to surge and try to make something happen. As you can see, Larry Fairman has had his fair share now at the clean air. He hasn't had clean air a chance for it all night long, and now he is in the clean air with Gary Snyder. Let's see if they can make something happen. Let's see James Harris right behind them. We see also a 3 wide battle going on. Of course, Brian Lorenzo, we talked about that 99 yellow machine. He is actually just cracked into the top 10. He is pushing Bascom, I do believe, as we see that 3 wide breakout. Jason Taylor, of course, out front on that bottom, leading right now. See in the middle, Bearman trying to keep that line going as well. Top line, Bascom has, of course, started to peek out and try to move forward.
Andrew Hale doing a good job on the bottom of the racetrack there in second place. I know he was involved in that first caution, pushing the race leader here. Taylor in the 15th in the line. Taylor going to lead that lap.
I'm telling you, I got to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, my throat was getting ready to give out. I've been sick. I had strep throat for the last week, and Austin Edser just came in to save the day, finally.
Oh, buddy, I am so sorry. I have a dyno PC. My microphone, I don't know what's going on with my microphone. I'm a little worried that it's going to go out again. But, hey, we're here. Oh, man, who's that in the middle there in the Grid Vision paint scheme? Getting a little squirrely there in the 55. Harris scared me a little bit coming down to the bottom of the racetrack. But I like that Grid Vision paint scheme. That looks pretty hot there in the middle.
Yeah, that's James Harris changing it up a little bit there as he moves up top. Of course, Jeff No's going to see if he can possibly fill that that space as Jason Taylor is still in the lead. You can see Fairman still trying to make that middle groove work. It looks like a lot of drivers are just, they're not really committing. I think the drivers that really are committing, though, is Hale and Taylor. But a lot of other drivers seem like they don't have a whole lot of loyalty. They're moving around a whole lot.
Yeah, I wish I could give some good insight on what I've seen so far in the race, but I haven't seen anything in the race, so I'm just going to go along with what you said and assume that it was absolutely spot on, like it always is with the high octane action.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been some fantastic racing, a lot of 3-wide going on, as you see Jeff No moving up to that top, trying to get that groove going. That top third lane has not been moving quite as good as it has been in the past, but this has been the longest green run we've seen thus far here tonight. So we're getting closer and closer to the halfway point. Just about 6 laps, I think, after we complete this one until we'll be at that halfway point. Of course, as I mentioned, the fuel window is 35 laps. I'm curious to see, when do you pit?
Well, if the fuel window is 35 laps, I feel like I want to run this thing as late as possible and just take as little gas as I need to get to the end. And you really got to have teammates, right? You got to have people committed to come down with you at the exact same time. So it really just depends on whenever you can kind of get in contact with a couple other drivers and kind of figure out when they're getting ready to pit. I feel like you've got to have teammates coming down. I mean, obviously, right? It's Talladega. It's a super speedway. If you go down pit road by yourself, you're losing the draft, even if you're out there only a lap by yourself. So obviously, I just think a lot of these guys are talking to each other on chat, whether it be in Discord or in the game, whether they be text chatting or in a little radio station on their own, and just kind of contributing to the conversation with each other. There's really no way to tell when they're going to come down to the super speedway. All you can really tell is that the pit window is now open if they can make it 35 laps, so we could see them at any time.
Definitely could. I know some drivers, I think, are 25 laps into their stint, so some drivers are a little bit more limited than others. Now, most, I do believe, are about 15 laps into their fuel here, so that means that they can go another 20 laps or so, so they're probably 15 to 20 laps, probably a little bit easier to make it that far. So we're starting to see a lot of drivers just moving around, a lot of chaos out here on the racetrack. You see that third group has gotten moving again. Brad Thacker is leading that in the 56. But I'm seeing a lot more wiggliness than I saw previously. As Heath Snyder has jumped down in front of Jason Taylor and taken the lead.
Yeah, Heath Snyder getting that clean air there on the inside of the racetrack. There's a couple things he's doing here. I think that he knows that the pit window's now open, so he just kind of wants to be in that position where if everybody decides to come down pit road here on the bottom of the racetrack, he can be a part of that first group to come down. He can hear that call coming down into turn 3 over the voice chat. Ooh, is that a little bit of netcode contact to the wall? I couldn't quite tell if he actually got into it or...
No, I think he did.
Oh, man.
That was William Mann Jr. that just got into the outside wall there as he was, I do believe, pushing... Who's that he's pushing? I think that's the...
55? No.
No.
I have no idea.
That is, I think that's the 56 of.
Oh yeah, that's
Thacker there.
That's Thacker for sure. I remember seeing that big fat door number that first week. Looks like he's gotten rid of that big fat door number, but it's still sideways.
No, it's still there.
Oh, is it still there? Oh,
yeah,
it's still there. Yep, that's a big fat 56 right there. But most of the drivers, a couple people fading down. Not actually coming to pit road though. I thought it was happening.
Yeah, the way that looked, if I was could read body language on trucks, I'd say that looked like everybody was getting ready to immigrate themselves down pit road. And I think that might be why everybody's moving to the bottom. I think it seems like they're all preparing to do something, and that might mean there's some chatter on the radios and Discord or something like that. Of course, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, one of the keys to victory is going to be teamwork here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. You got to find a dancing partner. We've heard it for decades at these super speedway tracks. Whenever you go and listen to Fox or whatever, right, you always hear them say you got to find a dancing partner. You got to have that here tonight. You got to have a bunch of them whenever you come down pit road. It can't just be one. It can't just be two. You got to come down with a ton of people down pit road. Oh, man, the 15 just about gets Andrew Hale down to his inside. Coming off the turn 4. Just left a little bit too much of a gap down there. Coming out of the corner. Still nobody coming down pit road. I'm very surprised to see them kind of stretch it out a little bit, but maybe they're just trying to make sure they have enough for a green-white checkered, just in case this thing runs green to the end, except for maybe a little bit of caution fair game.
Well, I'm seeing a lot. I was talking about seeing a lot of wiggling. I feel like maybe tire wear is starting to play a little bit more of a role than we think it is. I mean, with the new updates we've been, I think that might be something to that, because you see Jason Taylor, you talk about him pulling up the track a little bit, giving a lane almost to Andrew Hale. Could that be maybe something to do with vision, or is it the tires that are bothering him?
Well, it could be the tires, but to be honest, it could also be that he's just trying to get air, and maybe Taylor was trying to be nice to the 4 of Andrew Hale. I know that Andrew had a little bit of damage to the nose earlier. I don't know if he's gotten all of it fixed, but he could have just needed some air. Maybe him and Andrew are in a chat together, kind of communicating. Andrew might have just been running hot and he needed a little bit of air. I know these trucks overheat really, really quickly whenever you're up under somebody's bumper.
That's a very good point. That's something we haven't really talked a whole lot about here tonight. These trucks, when you're right there behind somebody's bumper, the temperature gauge does go up quite a bit, and you could end up blowing the engine, and that's probably the last thing you want to do at a track like this, because you got to be, in order to use that fast break, you got to be able to make it back to pit road. If you blow the engine, you ain't making it back to pit road. As we're now crossing that halfway point, lap 30, as we get ready to start lap 31. As we take a look on board, I do believe this is Jason Taylor we're looking through the eyes of, and we were talking about eyesight, visibility. That is a crucial bit of how difficult this is. A lot of times people think, oh, super speedway racing is easy. They don't understand that visibility is such a danger. You can't see anything. I mean,
yeah, you absolutely have to trust the guy in front of you. I mean, that's all you can do. You just got to push, 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 and hope and pray that the guy in front of you knows what he's doing. You know, if you're the 15 of Taylor right now, you're all over the back bumper of Heath Snyder, and you can't see anything over that rear bumper. I mean, there is no visibility. All you can see is the guy in front of you named right on the top of the car. That's it. So as the driver of the 15, and especially as the driver of the 4, Andrew Hale, he's so tucked up, and he's got 2 drivers in front of him. That's where it becomes really, really sketchy. If there's just a little moment between the 15 and the 3, Andrew Hale has no time to react either. So you have to have full faith in everybody in front of you, and especially about to come to pit road, like I believe we're going to see here in the next couple laps. They have to be super, super careful getting down into the pit lane.
yeah, no, for sure. And you see, Taylor, I think, getting a little bit worried as you see side by side for the lead. Sam Swope doing a fantastic job. He's being pushed by Brad Thacker. See William Mann Jr., he's up in the top 5 here. Looking really, really good for a lot of these drivers, and very, very impressive to see that they've been holding it together for this long. This is almost 20 laps we've made it on a run here. Brad Thacker thinking about jumping up top. It looks like the 42 of Asmir Boscombe has decided to move up.
Oh, contact there in the middle of 3 and 4. Is that the 50 and the 4 getting together there in 3 and 4? It's kind of going to allow there to be a little bit of a gap here for the 50 to get in, to be able to get down pit road here relatively soon. I think that ends up working out for Swope relatively well. And now look at this, Andrew Hale, Taylor, that's Jason Taylor in the 15 on the outside, just going around Heath Snyder like he's sitting still.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because they seem like they were working together. I wonder if maybe if Hale and Taylor are talking to one another, because, I mean, it seemed like Snyder had no clue that was coming whatsoever, no communication to him. But it definitely seemed like there was cooperation there between the 4 and the 15. So they're going to be having stuff like that in their back pocket for later in this race. Because even though you might be leading on the last lap, are you going to lead across the start-finish line? That's going to be the question. And if you pull a move out like that on that last lap, you might be left, you know, with your pants down.
I hate getting left with my pants down.
You can see a 4-car breakaway in some regards here. Jason Taylor, Andrew Hale, Heath Snyder, and Sam Swope are in the top 4 positions. Will Brandon Ball be able to draft up here? This is kind of a curious situation here. It doesn't look like a lot of these drivers are very hungry to get back to them.
I think there's just a...
Oh, so I got to call him doctor. I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
I think there's just a little bit of an issue from that last couple laps whenever we had that contact in the middle of 3 and 4. I think a couple of guys here about 6 on back just kind of got stacked up a little bit, created that bit of a gap that we see, and then they got side by side and started side drafting each other even further back, and now the top 5 have just kind of been able to stretch away. It looks like now there's a 6 car, the 69 here of Plus on the inside, able to break free as well. But I think we're going to come down to perfect timing here. I think most of these drivers are going to start coming down pit road. I think I'm hearing a couple people coming down this lap.
Well, they have to. I mean, Dr. Swope is, he's got about 35 laps on his gas. I think he's got to come down. You can clearly see there they are.
Swope came down early off of that corner. I mean, coming out of turn 4, I thought he was going to loop that thing. I did the, this is a little scary, but I did the NASCAR racing experience back in like 2016 here at Dega. And I came off of that turn 4, and they told me to come back down to pit road, and I whipped it down off that corner way, way too quick and almost wrecked one of their show cars or their racing experience cars. And it looked like Sam Swope was about to do that same thing off at turn 4 with how early he turned off onto the apron. A little bit of a hairy moment there for the 50. He was able to hold on to it, though. As I was. I didn't wreck the car.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. They probably put your picture up saying no Austin Estrom's here.
Yeah, I would have lost a lot of money on that one.
They would have had you buy the race car.
They would have banned me from the track.
You would have try to go watch a race at Talladega and be like, no.
Sir, we're not letting you in here until you pay that $200,000 for that car you broke.
But Jason Taylor in the lead. These guys here that are still on the track, they have about, I think, a little less than 10 laps left on their fuel. I don't know. Do they come down soon? What is the advantage of staying out longer? Is it just holding off just in case there's a caution?
Well, whenever you look at who came down, or it's not necessarily the exact people that came down, but the number of people that came down on that last run, it was only, what, 4 or 5? That 4 or 5 car or truck pack is likely going to be slower than this big, massive pack we got up here running for the lead. So if you're all these guys, you're thinking, we have less fuel in the tank right now, so we are a little bit lighter. We have more cars in this pack, so we should be a little bit faster, and we should just be able to get around this racetrack faster than that pack of 4 or 5 cars. And that pack of 4 or 5 cars had to come out of pit road packed up, and if they did not, then they're going to lose even more time. And look at this up here. You see them. They're broken up into teams of 2, 1, and I believe another 2 pack up at the front. So honestly, I think that entire pack is screwed, and they're going to get even more screwed if this lead pack stays out for a good chunk of time.
No, I think you're right. They made a mistake, and I think a lot of times it comes down to decisions on what you do when you get to pit road as well. Like how efficient you are on pit road, as well as do you take 2 tires, do you take no tires, do you take full fuel. I think a lot of that kind of weighs into how long you spend in your box, and that could equate to whether you come out together or not. But I kind of want to touch on something you just said about, 4 drivers being faster or slower than a big pack of trucks. I don't agree. I think 4 trucks can be faster than a whole pack of trucks because it's less variables, and they're big problems. The 77 of Sabilo slides it onto pit road. He had to have got a penalty there.
Yeah, I think he had all 4 tires off the racetrack there for a moment. I got to think he's going to get an unsafe pit exit or entry there. That could be huge for the 77. No, he's coming off back-to-back runner-up finishes. Just a little bit of an error coming down pit road. You can see how much time he's trying to gain all the way from the back of the pack. And he just starts wheel hopping there at the very end. Rips that thing around. Andrew Hale saved barely.
Hale he could have took out Hale right there. It was so close.
Well, Sabilo's coming out of pit road not long after all these guys, so I don't. He
might
didn't get a hold there, but he could have gotten a drive-through. He might have gotten a drive-through.
But usually that would have been a hold in pit road on entry if he messed up.
That's what I was
might
thinking.
be okay, but if he might actually gain time on that.
Well, he's well off the back of these guys because I think he took tires most of the middle. So.
Oh yeah, because he slid them so bad. He probably needed to take tires, but
going back to
Go ahead.
Going back to what we were saying about the 4 versus the big pack, I think it really just depends on how hard that big pack's racing. They were side by side, but it wasn't necessarily heavy side drafting between the couple lines, I don't think. So I think it's really just dependent on, our producer just said the checkups in the main pack, and it really just depends on who you have. If you've got a good group of 4 drivers, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%, right? If you've got maybe the 4 highest I-rating guys in this lobby lined up nose to tail, it might beat the rest of the pack here. But if it's a hodgepodge mix of skill rating, then I don't know. I feel like the big pack is probably your best bet. As we got another lockup coming down a pit road.
Yeah, that was Heath Snyder there. I think he gets it low down, though. He gained some time there, I think. Him and William Mann Jr. coming in together there. A whole pack of cars. This is pretty much the majority of the pack here that has come down pit road. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's everybody, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. Oh, yeah, it definitely is. If you look at the pit timing up there, you see everybody is in pit road in the top 12, and everybody else is way off the pace currently. Obviously, all these guys trying to get up to speed. I'm a little surprised the leaders of this pack are coming out of pit road right now, and Taylor, Hale, they're just coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, so
I didn't think they'd be that far back.
Well, I mean, I think we talked about it. They weren't really all together when they came off of pit road, so they had to get together, and that required them to probably sacrifice a little bit of time to get organized. But here we go again. I mean, there's still some issues with organization when it comes to Snyder. I mean, Snyder has got has got Tyler Meeks now, but Jeff, no, he's a second back. Brad Thacker, he's a half a second back. I mean, this is going to take some time for these guys to get organized.
This is a, sorry, excuse me. This is a very weird pit cycle, I gotta say. I think we just gotta watch Taylor and Hale running 10th and 11th right now. This big pack, right? We gotta watch the, oh man, the 5 to the inside on the racetrack on the apron. Just about spins that thing out. Good save there from Snyder, the other Snyder, not Heath Snyder. That was Garth Snyder there in the 5. What a save down there on the apron here at Talladega. But we really got to pay attention to this pack, and that hurts them a little bit. It's going to hurt their time. But with how spread out everybody is in front of them, I feel like it's just an inevitability that they're going to run down our race leaders, because it's just Heath Snyder and Tyler Meeks as we see that replay there. James Harris getting into the back of the 5.
Oh, wow. Definitely some contact and a good save there for the 5. I want to give a quick shout out, of course, to Green Mountain Grills while we have a moment. Introducing Green Mountain Grills, where innovation meets flavor and your grilling experience reaches new heights. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. They have smart control technology, versatile cooking options, quality craftsmanship, wood fire flavor, and they're easy to use. Are you ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience? Well, choose Green Mountain Grills. Go to greenmountaingrills.com and get your grilling experience started today.
We can see Jason Taylor here coming through 1 and 2. Looking at that gap, they're running 6th place right now, the 15. The 4 car running in 7th. You can just see that gap consistently close down. Every single second, it is coming down another couple of hundredths. Our producer has just let me know they are 5 miles an hour faster than our lead pack consistently here. But I gotta say, we gotta pay attention to the lead pack a little bit, because they're about to get caught by a little 3-car pack, which could boost their numbers enough to where they could stabilize this speed difference a little bit. Oh, and Thacker's coming down pit road to completely blow up what I was saying. But here it is. Here's the 4-car pack at the front of the pack we were talking about. Could these 4 cars do better than the 8, 9 behind them?
That's curious about Thacker. He had came down pit road. I'm curious if maybe Thacker did not get gas. Maybe something happened there to where he didn't get enough fuel to make it to the end. But clearly, we are seeing a huge difference in speed. Jason Taylor last time by 51.863 versus Heath Snyder 52.856. That's a second difference in lap times right here. That is crazy.
It's
different.
Stabilizing though. Heath Snyder and Tyler Meeks have gotten 2 more teammates with Jeff Noe and Amir Bascom. And now it's stabilized. I mean, all the way down the back straightaway, it was 3.78. They've only cut it in another 2 or 3 hundredths through 3 and 4. It's gonna be tough for them to wind that gap down now that the front pack has kind of figured it out a little bit. But now it's starting to come down once again off of 4. It seemed like they got a good head of steam. Maybe there's just a little bit of discombobulation there in that second pack going down the back straightaway, because it is starting to come down once again.
Well, one good thing about this second pack is they're not racing each other. They are all trying their best to stay in line, which is odd. Usually this is not something you see, but I think that some of them have communicated with one another and said, hey, we have to line up. If we start racing each other, we're not going to catch them. And they can see the results of their work right now playing on these relatives.
That's kind of the beauty of league racing. If this was a C-Fix, C-Open.
Ain't no way they'd be working together.
I'm telling you, there would be about the 4th or 5th car in line. We get tired of being the 4th, 5th car in line, and they would jump out to the outside and try to pass everybody. It is the most frustrating thing, man. But here, we see it. They're catching them by about a 10th, 2/10 a lap now. So it's going to be close, but really the big thing is if they can get to within 8, 9 tenths of a second to the 42 of Bascom, that's really what they've got to do. So you got to think they're really 3 seconds back from the back of the pack, and then you've really only got to be within 7 tenths to a second of that rear car.
I disagree. I think you got. I mean, with this truck, it's different than the next gen. Like the next gen, I would probably agree with that 7 to 8 tenths or something like that. I think a second and a half. I think that's enough to give them enough of a draft to really give them a speed boost.
Really? Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, if as long as they get enough of a speed boost off of the second and a half, I mean, they're going to catch these guys easily by the end of this race off of their pace currently.
Hale is starting. He's about to turn Taylor here. This could take some of the speed out of this group here, because Hale just kind of gave a little bit of a tag to the 15, and it almost turned him. You can see right here, they are not on the same exact page right here. I think Hale, yeah, see right here. I don't know if this could.
Hale's having to breathe it, man.
Yeah, could be that. It could be a temperature issue where Taylor's going up to give Hale a little bit of room to be able to get some air on that nose.
And look at this, the gap has stabilized. I mean, it's stuck at 3 seconds between the last car of that main pack. Now, coming down a little bit to 2.9, but I mean, it's close. And Hale having to breathe that nose, it seems like, coming down to the corner. We saw it last time into turn 1. This time, he's all over the back bumper, giving him a huge shot. And you can see that time starting to come down. It is down to 3 seconds to the race leader, 2.7 to the back of that pack. Really, they just need about another second and a half, and they're going to be firmly within that slipstream.
Yeah, I think that whenever we saw that huge speed boost earlier, that was when Hale was probably in a cool, his engine was pretty cool. But now we're having, you know, it's all about the resource management at Talladega tracks like this. You have to really just be looking at that temperature gauge and looking at the drivers all around you. There's just so much going on, even though this seems like a simple style of racing, that there's a lot to be keeping track of. And you clearly can see that right now as they're about two and a half seconds now from the leader. So this is definitely getting closer and closer. They're going to start to feel the effects of the draft here.
It's going to be close. I mean, they're cutting it in deep now. I mean, they've cut it just about a second this last lap. I mean, Taylor is there. I mean, they've caught him. I mean, this is way quicker than I thought. I thought we were going to get it with about 7-8 laps to go, but they're just about in that slipstream. I mean, we're there. I mean, I feel like they're getting a little bit of tug right now. But it's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger as they run down that lead pack. Taylor is going to have a huge run with Andrew Hale here coming up on Heath Snyder, Tyler Meeks, Jeff Noe, and Amir Bassett.
I'm curious on what this top four does. What do they do? I mean, this is in their field. They can try to do something. Do they jump up to try to block? Do they try to somehow absorb themselves, get absorbed into that group so they can try to work themselves back into the lead? I mean, it's not over for those guys.
It definitely isn't, but they definitely have to regroup. But coming to 12 laps to go, I mean, that's just about 12 minutes here at Talladega. That is a ton of time, and they are there. The 42 kind of throws a little fade of a block. Not really going to commit to that. Probably the smart move there from Bascom. Taylor is coming with a huge head of steam. Jason Taylor in the 15 on the outside. We've got a firm race for the lead now. Jason Taylor's going to lead it at the line over Heath Snyder.
Wow. Look at the run that Taylor has there. And they lost a couple of their numbers.
Man!
John Lucido.
Oh, they're wrecking!
They're wrecking because John Lucido decided he was going to take him 4 wide. And caution flag is out. My goodness. Bascom, who was up in the top 4 before Taylor had caught him, involved in this. He's stuck on the, I do believe, banking change there. As we take a look at this, look at the run that Lucido gets, and he decides to just take it. And unfortunately, EJ, I do believe, gets caught in that. That's the 8 machine of De Boer.
Yeah, that was a little aggressive. I've got to admit that was. I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't have made that move. I mean, the hole's there, so I don't. I
mean,
get
last lap, yes. Oh yeah. Oh
absolutely. Yeah. But I typically hold off on 4 wide until we are right at the finish at these things, just because the spotter doesn't tell you you're going. You got to keep that in mind.
It had just opened up. I mean, it had just opened up. There was not room for him, and then it opened up. And
exactly. There ended up being room, so I feel hard-pressed to blame him, because I feel like him and the driver on the outside got to the outside and inside of De Boer here at the exact same time. Like, with the run that Lucido had, it felt like they both got there at the same time, and it was just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, race preservation, you hope that he lets off, but, I mean, the hole was there. I don't know. I'm a little hard-pressed on that one. Real life, sure, because, again, you got the real-life spotter that can tell you. But like I said, I try to avoid 4 wide until we get to about 5 to go, typically.
Yeah, that was a crazy one right there. Let's take a quick step away, pay some attention to our sponsors. What a race thus far at Talladega. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here. We've got 10 laps to go at Talladega Superspeedway. Cannot believe I almost forgot that it was called Talladega Superspeedway. I live here. But Jason Taylor leading the way over Andrew Hale in that second place position. Heath Snyder in third. Everybody's got enough fuel to make it to the end. Probably not going to see any pit stops here from the front runners going forward unless we get a big accident. But coming to, I believe, 1 to go here. Should have 8 to go on the restart. 8-lap shootout. We've been gifted some pretty good races here so far in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series this season. I mean, goodness gracious, race 1 at Texas saw Heath Snyder there in that 3 truck in third place, side by side with the 77 of Sabilo coming to the line in a fantastic photo finish. You got to think we're going to get something similar here at Talladega. I mean, come on, if we're going to get a 15 thousandths of a second finish between the top 2 guys at Texas, we got to get something closer at Dega.
Yeah, no, I think we could see something crazy here. I mean, we did see a really great finish last week at Richmond as well. So, of course, we saw Andrew Hale get a victory there. What I'm curious is, could we see a repeat winner? I think that's a possibility here. Both of the only winners this season so far is Andrew Hale and Heath Snyder, and both of them are sitting in the top 3 right now.
You know, a lot of people say that super speedways take a lot of the skill out of it, and I agree. But it somehow seems like the guys that are quick still find their way up to the front of the super speedways. You know, if they're quick everywhere else, they're still going to be rapid at the super speedways. I just feel like they kind of there's a little bit of knowledge that comes from being really, really quick at other racetracks that you could still apply to Talladega in terms of manipulating momentum. And I just feel like the guys that win at the 1.5 miles, they can figure it out at the super speedways and be very, very consistent. It's just about staying out of those wrecks.
Well, who's your pick?
I'm just gonna go with what I just said. Basically, go along with that. I'm gonna say Heath Snyder in that 3 on the inside. I think he's looked really good. The only problem is Jason Taylor and Andrew Hale look like they're working together, so he's gonna have to beat that duo.
Alrighty, I think I'm gonna go with Taylor. I'm going with Jason Taylor. So we're seeing Harris from the producer. So, yeah, so that's very interesting.
Who would have thought?
Nobody picked Hale. Nobody picked him.
Who would have thought our producer would have picked the Grid Vision paint scheme? Who would have thought? But, hey, coming to the restart with 8 laps to go, got to think we're probably going to get a couple more of these. But Jason Taylor, Andrew Hale on the front row. Looking at a teammate restart here, if I'm being honest. I think Jason Taylor's going to get a jump from that outside dump under and kind of take it away from the 3, but they're coming to the green flag. That outside line gets a good jump, and he immediately falls down to the inside groove, taking it away from Andrew Hale. He's going to be able to get that 4 on his back bumper. Heath Snyder ducking out to the outside, actually, from that 3rd place position, trying to give a push to the 29 of William Mann Jr. and get that outside line some steam.
Yeah, I think that they played that. Those teammates definitely seemed like they played that very well. Taylor and Hale very well working together. But here we go. Move on the exit of turn 2. You can see William Mann Jr. generating a huge run of speed with the help of Heath Snyder. They're going to get a big run down the backstretch here, as well as to see Tyler Meeks. Where's he been at? He's up in the top 5.
Yeah, Mann Jr., Heath Snyder got a good run off of 2. Mann Jr. was able to side draft the 4 just a little bit, but then the 4 got some help from Tyler Meeks in that 7, and it just shot that inside line out a little bit. Heath Snyder and the 29 of William Mann Jr., just a little bit of sitting ducks without any help there on the outside group, but you got to think somebody's going to get up there and help these guys out at some point. We're coming to the end of this race. We're coming to the checkered flag here relatively soon. Somebody is going to make a move to get out to that outside line to try to win this race.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I think we're going to see somebody come up there and help those guys out. Surprised that we haven't already seen somebody trying to do that, but it looks like I think most of the people are just trying to get organized. You see, of course, James Harris, he's
Oh,
moved
it's coming.
down to the bottom, and yeah, I definitely think it's coming. 3 wide though, starting to
Oh,
form.
Thacker. Yeah, Thacker goes to the outside. He's got no help out there. Just really going to hurt that middle line a little bit. They were getting up to the 3 and the 29, and it's just completely stalled the momentum. Now we got 3 trucks on the outside. I would have liked to see them at least get up to Heath Snyder first so that we could get that outside line moving, but instead it's just completely killed that middle groove. William Mann Jr. and Heath Snyder are going backwards.
Yeah, I almost feel like a lot of those guys that are further back there are so concerned with what position they're in right now. I don't think they're concerned about trying to get up there and battle for the win. But of course, short-sighted. And you see more 3 wide breaking out further back as they, of course, are all battling. I do believe.
Oh, contact in the middle of 1 and 2 there.
Lucido again.
Yeah, Lucido loves the middle of the racetrack right here, my guy. Oh, they're wrecking in the back. 16 on the inside apron.
Oh, no.
On the 5, gets spun around right in the middle of turn 2. A couple other drivers involved, spinning loose. Everybody else able to hang on to it. Unfortunately, for the 5 of Garth Snyder, he's the only one that gets sent around. Don't think he has too much damage on that 5 machine, though.
Yeah, I think he's okay. You see some contact right here that led all of this.
The 11 might be hurt.
That was
man, the
actually
net code. Holy cow.
Net code there between the 42 and the 5. But that could have been a whole lot worse, I'll tell you right there. I mean, that was a whole lot of moving parts there that could have ended up, crumbling up trucks a lot worse.
Yeah, it absolutely could have been a lot worse, but luckily the 5 spun off the racetrack there. Good job from Garth Snyder, kind of mitigating damage in that instance. But here coming to 5 laps to go, taking that yellow flag. We are going to get that green, white, checkered. So it's going to be Jason Taylor, Andrew Hale on the front row. Probably going to see another teammate restart, but I got to say, if they are that heavy of teammates, I'd almost rather start on opposite grooves and control both lanes rather than be teamed up on a twosome, because I feel like maybe you've got a higher chance to win the race if you've got both drivers leading both lanes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely an interesting point, but I think if those guys on that top line are alone like they were again, I don't think it really matters. But I get what you're trying to say. I think if it goes like that again, I don't think it matters. But I don't think this next restart's going to go like that. I think this next restart, they're going to be a lot more compact and like sardines. So I think it's going to be more important to control both lanes. But while we have a moment, I do want to shout out our last sponsor here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, that being Blackstone Management Partners. They guaranteed a one-on-one approach, unrivaled one-on-one approach with every client, providing them solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communication, talent management, and event management. Working with their clients, they not only use state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, experience marketing, cause-driven marketing, not only use traditional. I'm sorry, I should have included that part. I butchered that. I do apologize, Blackstone. But make sure you visit bsmpartners.com today, y'all. My voice is hurting. I do apologize.
I appreciate you, Brian, calling those first 22 laps by yourself. You are a trooper.
Well, I definitely. It's been a fun one, so it's been worthwhile to be out here calling these races. Alabama, Talladega. It doesn't disappoint usually. I tell you, and these guys haven't disappointed here so far tonight. I mean, I'm very much curious who's going to win this thing. So far, my pick, though, Jason Taylor, he's in the lead.
Yeah, Taylor's looking the best right now, but like you mentioned, it is Talladega. And coming out of turn 4 on the last lap, still got a lot of distance to that checkered flag all the way around the front straightaway, and the tri-oval is absolute madness on the last lap, man. I mean, there's no telling what anybody's going to do. I don't know exactly what the rules are in terms of the double yellow line, but I know typically in iRacing you can use the bottom, even though, God bless, I hate whenever people do. I'll turn you if you try to use the daggum apron to pass me here. But I know that sometimes you can do that in officials. Not quite sure what their ruling is here. But
yeah, that's definitely a good question. I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit of a scary thing to do here at Talladega.
I hope we don't see it. I hope we don't see it. I hate that crap. Now, if it was allowed in real life, I'd be fine with it. But I can't stand that they allow that crap in this.
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, I get what you're saying exactly. Because, just like Atlanta Superspeedway, so no passing under a yellow line. That has been cleared up.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. I appreciate you. But I kind of get it at Atlanta because it's a quad oval, and the way that they have that apron line painted in real life and in sim is absolutely idiotic. It's going to kill somebody, in all seriousness. That to have a dog leg on a super speedway, you know, like a sharper curve, like obviously the tri-oval like that we're looking at right now, it's just a very wide curve. At Daytona and Talladega, it's a gradual curve. At Atlanta, it's two little double apexes, and it is just unbelievably broken. I'm telling you, it's going to kill somebody. Our
Well, I
producer's
know,
saying
I
that the
know in
line
real
should be
life
lower,
you're
and I
not
agree.
allowed to go below.
Yeah, you're
line.
not, but you should be at Atlanta. I mean, goodness, I cannot believe that they had painted it like that and haven't changed it yet. I'm just.
Yeah, they should try to straighten it up
waiting.
a little bit, round it up a little bit more.
Yeah, man. Give him a little bit more room. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that. Yeah, I can. And those walls there at that track are very very
They're
abrupt.
squared off.
Yeah,
Yes.
so if you hit that, that's going to be a lot of force.
Exactly. I'm telling you, the first race, Bubba and somebody else got shot into the outside wall on the last lap. And, I mean, they were massive, massive impacts. And just whenever the next gen was not relatively safe whatsoever. Yeah. So I know that they've safened up the car a little bit. But I'm telling you, you hit the car at a very wrong angle, at a hard, I don't know, tight angle like that wall is. I don't know, man. I'm just
like Pocono,
it scares the heck out of
or
me.
Indianapolis. When you hit the walls of those types of places, it comes up so the angle of impact is way worse.
Either way, sorry. This is enough of a tangent for me to go on. Wherever we go.
Have a whole podcast tonight. Let's do it.
Exactly. We could. But hey, the pace laps are so long here at Talladega. Sometimes you can kind of talk about some off-the-wall stuff. But coming to 2 laps to go here, the green-white checkered in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. We're coming to the end of this thing. It's actually a natural green-white checkered, by the way. We are going to be taking lap 59, so we could get a couple more after this caution. Hopefully we can take that white flag before we get the yellow, though. I'm pretty hopeful about it. And I think that we're going to see a good race here to the finish with 2 laps to go. Still a long ways before we get that green flag, though.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that white flag. That'll be nice if we can get that and get my pick in the victory lane. Well, I don't know. I don't think Jason Taylor's been the victory lane. That would be a really cool thing to see for sure. I mean, I know that the 15, he's always been a top 5, top 10 type driver. We'll see what he can do. You can tell that they are definitely got something in mind.
Oh my, William Mann
with Andrew Hale here. Look at this. I mean,
William Mann Jr. is spamming his text in chat saying incoming man slam. So I'm expecting a lot from. Oh, look at him! He's already over the back bumper of Andrew Hale. He's smacking him. He's ready to get going here in the Geico restart zone, trying to prevent the teammate restart. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Andrew Hale lets Jason Taylor in. 2 laps to go. Can that outside line get set up here earlier than they did on that last run? It just took them way too long on that last green flag period for them to get set up. But here, that inside line looks really good with the 2 teammates there, the 4 and the 15 out in front. And now Heath Snyder, William Mann Jr. coming up here. William Mann Jr. is going to look to the outside, trying to take the race lead away from Jason Taylor. He's there. He's on the outside. Oh, but Tyler Meeks puts it 3.
Yeah, definitely some crazy action going on right now. William Mann Jr., he falls back. No man's land. Everybody wants to work with him, but Tyler Meeks, where did he come from? Making a big move. Here as they move down, of course, he moves with James Harris. They're working together as well as you see. I do believe Dan Hellewick, who led a lot of the race earlier in this race, is back up into the top 5.
I get why people are trying to make it 3 to get to the front of the lines, but man, I just really don't like that call from Tyler Meeks. It's completely killed that outside line, and they are way back side by side for 6 now on the outside groove. And if they get a run, somebody up here is just going to throw a block at some point. I mean, Heath Snyder running in that 3rd place position is going to be hungry, but look right behind him. The one of No is backing up to the drivers behind. He's going to get a huge run down the back.
Yeah, they're starting to try to build a big run here down the backstretch. I think the move's going to come out of turn 3 and 4. Here comes Heath Snyder entering turn 3, and he's got a huge run. We got some contact, and they are all having contact. Bumper cars here at Talladega. So far, they're staying straight, though. That's a shocker, as Jason Taylor right now is just barely in lead coming out of turn 4.
Heath Snyder's got it coming out of the corner, but Tyler Meeks ducks high. He ducks down to the middle. Heath Snyder blocks a little bit of contact with Andrew Hale from behind. That's going to allow Jason Taylor to come through in the 15. Heath Snyder head onto the wall. Jason Taylor crosses the start-finish line. The winner with his teammate Andrew Hale right behind in 2nd place, and it's a huge crash going down into turn 1.
Man, I think we might have lost some lives down there. There was some big hits down there coming to the start-finish line. Heath Snyder went from running in the top 3. I think he fell
18.
outside the top 15.
He's gone. I mean,
Goodness.
he got destroyed on the exit of the tri-oval. Tyler Meeks really aggressive out of turn 4. I get what Meeks is going for. You're trying to race for the race win, so I don't blame him whatsoever. And it's just tough, man. You're stuck under somebody. You just got to stay committed to his bumper, or I don't know. I mean, I feel like no matter what Meeks does in that situation, he doesn't win the race just from not being on the front row in these trucks. You got to be on the front row coming out of turn 4, it seems. Jason Taylor was able to do it, but my goodness, look at all that smoke. Look at all the debris, and look at all the sideways cars there on that replay. Incredible scenes here at Talladega.
Very much easily $1 million worth of race trucks just got killed.
Oh man, that was $5 million. Holy cow, that was the entire field getting absolutely demolished, except for Jason Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor fared the best out of that, and he won the race. I guarantee you, that driver is probably ecstatic. I know he fights so hard week in and week out to try to win these races, and finally, I think he's nailed one.
Yeah, we're going to see a heck of a burnout here from Jason Taylor, whipping that thing around on the front straightaway of Talladega Superspeedway. Hey, man, that's my seats right there. You can probably see them on the back of my head. But Jason Taylor winning this thing outright over Andrew Hale in second place, Jeff No in third. John Lucido is going to bring it home in fourth place with James Harris in fifth. Tyler Meeks in sixth with Paul Buchanan in seventh. Keegan Spilo is going to bring it home eighth place. Dan Hulawig in ninth, and Brian Toole rounds out your top 10.
11th place, William Mann Jr. 12th place, Amir Bascom. I do apologize to him for messing up his name. 13th, EJ DeBoer. 14th, Brandon Ball. 15th, Brian Lorenzo. 16th, Stephen Pless. 17th, Larry Fairman. 18th, Heath Snyder. What a heartbreaker for him. 19th, Dr. Sam Swope. 20th, Gar Snyder. 21st, Brad Thacker. 22nd, Ray Kennison. And 23rd, Robert Wynn.
What a finish to that one, man.
Yeah.
Holy
I gotta mention as well, look at this. The gap from first to last was just over a second.
Holy crap.
They all finished on the lead lap.
And the only one that was outside of a second was the last place finisher. First through 22nd was on.
Nuts.
We're going to show one more replay of that race finish just to see everybody fly at the line. Coming out of turn 4. Looking a little bit further back in the pack, because that's kind of where all the mayhem happened, right? Heath Snyder got turned up in the front, but then it was absolute carnage everywhere behind. A little bit of a hit check there from the 42, and then everybody just has to scatter with Heath Snyder going, oh my goodness, look at him getting absolutely destroyed by Thacker in the 56. Everybody scattering. Oh my goodness, Heath Snyder. Oh, the 5 and the 47 going under Heath Snyder there on the front straightaway.
That's awesome. Look at that.
That was sick, man. Can we get an onboard from the inside of Garth?
That was like Ryan Newman's crash.
Get in Garth Snyder's cockpit. That was insane.
That car wasn't even a car when it crossed the line. It was getting hit from everywhere.
Gonna speed this one up forward here just so we can catch Garth Snyder. I mean, this is not a sight you want to see. You never want to see the underside of a race car whenever you're sitting inside of a race car.
Waving.
Oh my goodness, that's insane. I love that visual. That's so amazing seeing him get absolutely launched over the top of Garth Snyder. I mean, I can't believe how much of a ride he went on. That was insane.
Great race, great finish.
We're going to send it to our last commercial break here, though, right before we get into our interviews. Stick around. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to jump right into our winning interviews, or at least our podium interviews. First, we're going to start out with that third place finisher. It's going to be the number 1 driver of Jeff No. If we can find him in the Discord, looks like we can. We're going to drag him down to the broadcast booth. Jeff, do you have a copy in the broadcast booth, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, nothing much, man. We had a pretty good show in here up in the broadcast booth watching that amazing race. Kind of walk us through your finish there, that last green, white checkered, finding yourself coming across the line in third place. Was there anything you could have done to maybe get up there to Jason Taylor and Andrew Hale?
Nah, I mean, they kind of got hooked up there, the last couple restarts, man. And then outside line got such a good jump there on that final restart. And I absolutely hate Superspeedway racing. So, when I was able to get to the bottom, because usually, with the speed, momentum, all that stuff, if there's a wreck, it'll usually wash it outside. And was able just to get it back to the line. I got some contact there, and I stuck my hand out the driver's side window to make sure I finished third as we crossed the checkered flag. So we'll take it. I hate, last week I was in second place and my wheel died, and going to that last caution, and I had to restart 18th, and I was able to finish 11th. So we'll take it. It's a good points day. Just trying to fit in with this group of guys and race with them. This is a fun league, and it's guys my age, so that's welcoming. And I appreciate what you guys do in the booth, being able to go back and watch these races each week. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate that, Jeff. And typically you come to Talladega, you come to Daytona, you come to Atlanta, and a lot of guys just want to get out of here with a half-decent finish and a race truck that is not torn up. Tonight, your race truck looks pretty daggone good, and you're sitting on the podium. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to think that's a great finish for you, especially having to miss out on all those points last week. Kind of get a lot of them back, and it almost feels like a wash maybe between it. Now, I guess towards the end of the season, if you're fighting for that championship and you lose it, but still by that number of the incident there from last week, it'll hurt. But put you back on the right track this week. So, are you going for the championship this year? You got any high sights, I guess, going forward?
We'll see, man. I kind of just do this for fun. I'm a teacher by day, and then we're going to Disney World, me and my wife and 2 kids in March. So I'm pretty sure I'll miss a race or 2. I run pizza routes on the weekend, just trying to pay for that. Actually, 2 weeks ago, paid for the whole trip. So hard work pays off to an extra.
Hey.
But we'll see, man. I just kind of show up. I don't practice. I didn't practice any tonight. Just try to get in there and learn what's going on the first 15, 20 laps of the race, and kind of go from there. So
Producer asked what he teaches. Sorry, I have to say that over the broadcast. They can't hear him.
No, you're good. So I used to teach high school. I coached high school basketball for 15 years. Second child was born, and I was like, man, I want to get out here and try something different. So I teach hospital homebound. I teach kids that are too sick to go to school. So, like for instance, I have one of my students has cancer, and I have another student who has some serious stuff going on where he's unable to attend school. So it's very rewarding, and I'm thankful. I'm blessed to do what I'm able to do. So just a teacher, man, living the dream.
I'm excited that Heath Snyder got flipped 1,000 times in the air so that we could talk to you instead. Jeff, it was great getting to know you in this interview, man. I mean, wow, I'm just about choked up, man. Congrats on working your way to be able to take your kids on that amazing trip, and thank you for all the hard work you do outside of the sim. It sounds like you're a freaking hard worker, and you do a lot of work for the less fortunate. So just want to give you a say thank you from everybody here, and obviously for everybody that you help. I mean, that's a really huge deal, and congrats to you for being able to do that for your kids here coming up in March.
Hey, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, guys. I want to give a shout out to my friend Jess and my friend Steven. I know they tuned in to watch tonight, so thank you.
That was Jeff No, the driver of the number 1, finishing in third place. Probably one of my favorite interviews I've ever given. But we're gonna have to jump it over to Andrew Hale here. Our second place finisher, Brian Britt, is going to be standing by with that second place finisher.
Well, Andrew, apparently you got some pretty big shoes to fill, because that was the favorite interview he's ever had. So hopefully you're my favorite. Andrew, great job tonight. I mean, man, second place. You won last week at Richmond. You come here to Talladega and you finish second. I think that makes you the points leader coming out of this race. But how nuts was that finish?
That was wild. There going into 3, I just held the skiddy pedal down or let her eat. If we wrecked, we wrecked. But we came out there and pushed the 15 to a win. That was the deal. I told him if he got out front, stay on my nose, and I'll drive it to a win.
All right, it definitely seemed like it worked out for sure. I mean, it seemed like you guys had the plan kind of worked out on those restarts too, to where he started on the top. We didn't see a whole lot of that tonight until you guys kind of got in control. Was that what was the mindset behind that?
Everybody knows what we were doing. Probably we hooked up middle of the race there, and we stayed together most of the time. They probably knew what we were doing. They were trying to push me, not let him down, but the old brake pedal will slow him down.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it worked for sure. And I know earlier in the race you probably were a little bit concerned because, from your point of view, what happened? You seemed like you hit like a rock in the middle of the track. You didn't hit anything really.
And on my screen, we're like going through the corner, and then the 8 disappears, and then it lands on my hood, and my car just stopped.
Oh.
And I'm like,
we didn't see that. We definitely did not see that.
It messed me all up. And Jason come up beside me. He's like, well, the only thing I see is your bumper's missing, and my RPM were okay. And I was like, well,
no, you had front end damage too. We saw that clearly on the broadcast.
Yeah.
It like you definitely had some front end damage. But you got it fixed. You were able to get back out there and get some great points here. You finished second place. That's an awesome job for you. For sure. What does this do, you think, for your championship hopes, considering you're one of the clear favorites right now?
It's definitely put me up there ahead. Looking at the points here, Jason's behind me with a win. Keegan, he's fast. What do we go next? Michigan, I'm going to be one of them where I start top 10 and I'll ride for 10 laps, and then I'll just keep that steady pace and hopefully people wear their tires out.
All right, well, hopefully that strategy works out for you, Andrew. We look forward to seeing what you can do there at Michigan. Who can we shout out before we let you go?
I'd like to thank Champion Power Equipment for putting this series on. James does a good job of setting the races up. Jason there for basically coaching me along. We were in our own chat, and I'm not good at Superspeedways. He's like, just stay to my bumper. If you need air, let me know. I'll ride up a little bit, cool her down, and we'll go again. And that's what we did.
It definitely worked. Well, we'll see you next week there, Andrew.
All right, appreciate it.
All righty, that was Andrew Hill. Next up, Austin standing by with Jason Taylor.
Jason, do we have a copy, buddy?
I hear you. You hear me?
Man, Jason, winning here at Talladega, I mean, it's no easy feat. You had a good pusher behind you with Andrew Hale. Just kind of walk us through your race, man. Talk about that performance and how you were able to come through, even after those pit stops that set y'all way far back, to be able to come back, run down the lead group, and end up winning this thing.
I'm going to tell you, I had no doubts about coming back through this Ford Credit Quality Care Motorcraft F-150 was flying. I knew everybody was racing for second or third tonight when I got in practice. This thing was on rails. I mean, earlier they got a little squirrely, so I just kind of sat in the back and rode a little while and let it kind of calm down, and then made a couple of charges to the front with Andrew, and Andrew and I work together. He drives a go-kart I own in real life as well, and so we were on the same channel, and we just did a couple of practice runs and knew what we needed to do, and then finally said, hell, let's just lead and see what happens, and so we had a good game plan, and I have to give him a lot of credit because he was patient, just stayed there, and I know he won last week, so I think he didn't make a charge at me. I told him, hey, as long as we don't wreck each other and one of us win, I don't care what happens. But so I guess I need to buy him lunch tomorrow, it looks like. But just a great night. I love Talladega and Daytona. When I worked in NASCAR years and years, I mean, that was always my favorite tracks to build cars for and go to. And I just love plate racing. And, it's been a while since I've won one, so I'm pretty excited. It's just been a lot of fun doing this league, and this is my first win in the trucks with these guys, and that means a lot as well.
Well, congrats on bringing home the W. What were your thoughts going down into turn 3 whenever Heath Snyder kind of got turned into you by Tyler Meeks a little bit? There was a little bit of blocking, a little bit of gamesmanship there on the outside line. What were you thinking whenever you got door slammed getting into the corner?
I knew it was coming. I told Andrew coming out of turn 2, I said, elbows out, here they come. I knew it was going to happen. I also know Snyder. I've raced with him a long time. I know he's the type of guy that's not going to just do something stupid. So, you know, when he got into me, I know him, I trust him, and I knew we could lean on each other and be okay. And you know, Meeks is the same way. You know, I got Meeks last week and had to eat crow and apologize. I just flat wrecked him. So, but those guys I know I'm comfortable with, and I was glad they were up there with me, and they had a good run. I don't know if they got together or did something weird, but you know, once we all kind of got together, that's the break I needed there. I knew they weren't going to be able to regroup at that point. And I was just yelling for Andrew, just stay on me, and I was hoping they didn't take him out in the process. But it looked like they had a hell of a wreck behind us at the finish line, so at least
that might be that might be the understatement of the century. They
Dude,
exploded across the finish line.
Yeah, I went back and watched the replay while I was waiting to come up to the broadcast booth, and I was like, good grief. But I mean, it's all, you know, we actually did a green flag stop at Talladega. I don't think in this series we've done that in 3 years.
Ooh.
So that was just crazy. We were getting into that, and I was like, man, I don't remember the last time we actually had to do a green flag stop. So, but awesome night, had a blast. I've been fighting a little bit of a head cold, so this definitely helps that out. And, getting to drink some of this winter champagne goes a long way.
Well, I'll go ahead and let you go then. After, are there any shout-outs that you want to give us here before I actually do let you go?
First off, I want to thank you guys at Grid Vision, because of all the leagues I've done and stuff, I know my dad watches this every week. You guys are awesome. It's the excitement in your voices and stuff. Amazing job. I mean, I go back and watch the replays and love it. I want to thank Champion Power Equipment. They've sponsored this series for many years. Great people. It's a joy racing with them. James Harris, for all his work he does. He kind of leads this league and does the schedule and all, even though I don't always agree with his schedule. But he just won't run Pocono. I don't know why. I love Pocono, but
he's crazy for that. I agree with you 100%.
Pocono in the trucks is phenomenal. Big shout out to Andrew Hale. Like I said, I owe that boy some lunch tomorrow. We're gonna have to go get us something to eat. He just stayed there with me. He didn't have to do that, and I definitely owe him one for sure.
Well, congratulations, Taylor. Awesome to see you as a first-time winner here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. And thank you for the kind words as well. I mean, that goes a long way for us. We appreciate you so much for that.
100% mean it, man. Love what you guys do. Love being part of this series. And unfortunately, I can't go out drinking beer and partying. I got to go to work in the morning. But, hey, maybe this weekend we'll do it.
That's just a delayed celebration, and that's okay, too.
There you go.
But thank you, Jason, for coming up and joining us and putting on such a great show for us.
All right, y'all have a wonderful night.
You too, man. All right, that was our race winner, Jason Taylor. Not really too much else to say. I mean, Brian, what did you think of this race? You were the one that got to watch the entire thing, so I'd love to hear from you.
No, I mean, I thought it was a really, really good race at Talladega. I mean, I don't think it was bad at all. I was kind of concerned, a little bit of apprehensive, thinking it was going to be a wreck fest, but it turned out to be a really, really good race. I mean, we saw somebody like, Jason Taylor. I don't think I've ever seen him win a race here in this series, and got to hear him and interview him. That was really, really awesome. And this is a race that I won't soon forget. That's for sure.
I definitely won't forget that finish. My goodness, coming to the line, absolute mayhem. But that is going to do it for us here on Grid Vision in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series today. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, and we will catch y'all next week.